The U.S. Open begins Monday. It's usually a big moneymaker for New York, but this year's U.S. Open is now without several of its top stars: Serena Williams, Venus Williams, Roger Federer, Rafael Nadal, all withdrawing, citing injuries. Joining us now, USTA CEO Michael Dowse. As I said, that's 7 letters, but we know what we're talking. We understand what we're saying. USTA CEO Michael. Good morning. I miss everyone who's not there, but you know we've had to deal with not having a full sports venue for a couple of years, so the excitement should still be pretty high, I would think.
Yeah, hi Joe. Thanks for having me. It is disappointing to miss some of the top stars, as they've been wonderful champions literally for almost 20 years. So it is a little bit of a changing of the guard. We're not counting them out by any means, and we hope those champions are back next year. But we do have a lot of depth this year. Surprisingly, you know, if you think about the big names missing the tournament, we still have 19 of the top 20 women in the world competing in the tournament, including Naomi Osaka, our past champion. On the men's side, we have 17 of the top 20 men competing, and of course, Novak going for the first Grand Slam in 52 years, believe it or not. So we're excited with the quality of field we have, and maybe more importantly and equally important, it's so exciting to have fans coming back this year after having no fans last year.
Exactly. And Mike, I'm thinking, you know, if you were a total homer and only liked American stars, we'd have a kind of a problem with men's tennis right now, wouldn't we? And it's not really that new. Anyone in the top 17 that you just talked about that are going to be there? Who should we be pulling for if we did want to root for an American?
Yeah, good question. And we absolutely want American champions as the governing body of American tennis. I love our depth. I just threw some statistics at you. I'll throw a few more at you. We actually have 14 of the top 100 players in the world are American. That's more than any other country. That's on the men's side. And on the women's side, of course, we've had a ton of success.
Yes.
And we have 16 of the top 100 players in the world that are American. So we like our depth. The future's looking bright, but we, absolutely want a Grand Slam champion on the men's side. It's been a few years since we've had that.
Trying to figure out, not Andy. Who, you know, I should be paying more attention to. Who was the last men's win?
It was Andy Roddick was our last men's Grand Slam champion.
I was at the semifinal match. It was a 5-setter with Nalbandian, I think, and that was the real match, because the final with Andy wasn't as at least wasn't as exciting as the previous one. I got to see it. It was amazing. I'm worried about COVID.
I'm hoping you're coming out this year as well.
I'll be there. I will be there. But I'm
good.
On a really good night too. I'm not going to say when, because you know the crowds are big enough. I mean, if I were to disclose that, you don't need. Yeah. But as far as COVID, seriously, Michael, I'm worried because before people go in, there's a lot of people around. You're not going to require either mask wearing or vaccination cards, but it is outside. But it seems like people are pretty close together. Is it full occupancy? No restrictions there either.
Well, it is, and again, I mean, we take this really seriously, and Joe, last year we kind of developed a playbook to help us on this. I know it was without fans, but we did over 14,000 COVID tests last year with the players and the support staff, and we had a 99.97% negative rate. Of course, this year we have fans, so we've had to work extremely closely with the City of New York's Department of Health and the CDC. And you mentioned no vaccines. We will be requiring them for our indoor dining and our indoor suites, so that's important to know if you're coming out. As far as the grounds, it's much like a Mets game or a Yankees game. We won't be requiring vaccines at this point. We know it's a fluid situation, and we'll never sacrifice health and safety, so if that changes, we'll quickly communicate it. But the guidance we're being given now by our medical advisory group, and more importantly, the government officials who are experts in this area, is we're okay without requiring vaccines on the grounds of the tennis center.
Shepard Smith here. Thanks for watching CNBC on YouTube.